If you're just looking at wins and losses in baseball, you're missing the most important number that actually matters. Inside DataStreak, we built an MLB against the spread radar, which tells you how each team is against the run line. Now, in most other sports, there's a spread, but in the MLB, there's -1.5 or +1.5 runs, and that is the run line. Let me hop over to my screen and show you how we use the MLB against the spread radar to find the teams that are really good and really bad when it comes to beating the run line. So let me hop over to my screen and show you how we use the MLB against the spread radar to find the best and worst teams in the MLB when it comes to run lines. Here inside the MLB against the spread radar, now it is called the against the spread radar, even though in the MLB it is called the run line. We do that by design because we have this tool for all sports, and all other sports is called against the spread. And I'm going to show you exactly how you can use this to find the best teams on the run line. Now, how a team covers in a run line, 99% of the time, the run line is set to 1.5. So the favorite's going to be -1.5, which means they have to win by 2 or more runs. And the underdog is going to be +1.5. So that means they have to either win the game or just not lose by more than 2 runs. So they could lose the game by 1 run and they still would cover that run line. And a good rule of thumb is when you're betting baseball, about 25 to 30% of games are decided by 1 run. So what that means is most of the time, instead of taking a team on the money line, it might be just better to take them on the run line, especially if it's a favorite. And also, if you're betting, let's say, a team +1.5, a lot of times they'll just end up winning outright. So you could take them on the money line and get really good value. It at least is something to look at. So I'm going to show you how you can use this each day, and I'll show you a strategy on how you can find teams in really good spots for that day based on just looking at the run line and looking at all the other aspects going into that game. So we'll look at this first game here. We have the Braves at the Rockies, and we're going to see here, we want to look at teams in the specific situation that they're in. So the Braves are on the road. So we're looking at how the Braves perform on the road. So they, on average, score 6.27 runs on the road this season. Colorado, they're at home, and they score 4.86 runs on average at home. We also want to look at runs allowed. How well does that team pitch on the road? So the Braves, 3.47, and they have the 3rd pitching team so far this year, and the Rockies have the 19th pitching team, give up 5.14 runs per game at home. We also want to look at bullpens. These are dynamic bullpen rankings, so they're going to change every single day. So the way we rank our bullpens is not just by the statistics, how good that bullpen's been. We also look at fatigue, because fatigue when it comes to bullpens is so important, because primarily relievers, each team's going to have maybe 1, 2, or 3 really good relievers. Well, those relievers are not going to pitch a ton of innings like starters would. They're going to come in and they usually don't pitch more than 2 games in a row. So if a reliever pitched the night prior or the day prior, there's a good chance that they're not going to be pitching that game. So what we do is we take all the fatigue pitchers and we rank the bullpens by how tired they are. So we look here, Colorado, they're ranked 27th today and they are tired, and the Atlanta Braves are ranked 19th and they have a normal rested bullpen. We also want to look at how well these teams have done in the last 10 games. I love looking at last 10 games because it tells you a lot how they've been playing. And these teams are pretty similar, 5.4 and 5.1 runs scored their last 10 games. And also we want to look at the last 10 game total. So that combines both how many runs they've scored and how many runs they've given up. And we also want to look at the season long. So runs allowed for the season for the Braves, they've actually been pitching a little bit better on the road than at home. And as you can see here on the season, the Colorado Rockies actually have pitched a little bit worse at home. And the reason for that probably is because Coors Field is a hitter's ballpark. The elevation causes balls to carry there, so it's a harder park for pitchers to pitch at. And this is what we want to really look at, is how well they are on the run line. So the run line, Vegas chooses the run line each day. So they're going to choose a favorite and an underdog. Now, as you can see here, the Rockies are the underdog in this game, and they've been an underdog almost every single game. I believe every single game this season, they have been an underdog. So Vegas doesn't make them favorites often, but they've been really good against the run line as an underdog with a 20-13 record. And the Braves, they've been the favorite quite a bit this season. Only a few games have they been an underdog, and they are 19-9 as the favorite. So both these teams have been really good versus the run line so far this season, but we also want to look at how they are on the road and at home versus the run line. So the Braves have also been really good on the road versus the run line, 11-4 record, and the Rockies have been pretty good as well with a 9-5 record. And then we can also see their season run line as well. We can go down here and we can check the weather. If the wind is blowing in, for example, and you think it might be a low scoring game, there is a higher chance that that's going to be a one-run game. You want to take that into account. If the wind's blowing out, it's probably going to be a high scoring game. There's a little bit better chance that there's going to be a game that's decided by 2 or more runs. So when I mentioned taking the run line versus the money line, especially in high scoring games, it's better off usually to take the run line. Then we also can see a little write up at the bottom, talks about how well they are on defense and the against the spread trends or against the run line trends versus situations that they're in. But what we want to do, what I like to do, is find teams like this is a good example. The White Sox against the run line are 7-3 their last 10, but we see the Padres here are 4-6 in their last 10. So oftentimes it's good if you like a team, you like everything that you're seeing, and then you go to the run line and you see they've been hot their last 10. They're playing a team that's been a little colder versus the run line their last 10. That might be a good team to target. Here's another really good example. The Dodgers is the favorite. They are the favorite almost every single game. So they're 15-17 is the favorite. So they have not been that great versus the run line. But then you look at the Cardinals, and the Cardinals have played above expectations. Vegas hasn't priced them great, and they've been the underdog quite a bit. And they have a 20-10 record as the underdog, and in their last 10, they're 8-2. So they might be worth a look. So you can use the run line in how well teams do versus the run line, because Vegas is going to price these each game, and you're betting against Vegas because Vegas is setting the odds. Vegas is setting the run line. So if you're able to identify teams that have been beating the run line and you like everything else that you see in that game, they might be worth a look on the run line, and this tool is great for identifying that. So that's how I use the MLB against the spread radar to find teams that are really good against the run line, teams that are really bad against the run line, and look at each team, how they perform in the exact situation they're in for that day. If you want to try this out for yourself, click the link in the description, create a free DataStreak account, head over to the MLB against the spread radar and see exactly how you can use this tool each and every single day.